Welcome back to the Daily Jace Live. It is my pleasure and honor to present to you one of my longest lasting friends. There's not many of them around. Many don't last that long. We have fitness extraordinaire, underwater hockey, New Zealand rep, and a talkative teddy bear. We have Devin Glover. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on the Daily Jace. Long-time fan, long-time listener, first-time talker.
Oh, awesome to have you here. So for our listeners, give us the lowdown of your life. So you were born, then what happened?
Right, so I was born 26, almost 27 years ago, back in the old Lower Hutt Hospital. Went to school like a normal person would. And then ended up getting into radio for a little bit after that, after high school. After the radio situation, decided that I needed to find something a little bit more that kind of fulfilled what I was trying to achieve in life. And I guess what I was trying to achieve was just make people feel better about themselves. And I thought I could do that through radio, but couldn't quite get there. And then found my way into a gym, got my personal training qualifications, and then became a personal trainer, and then eventually the owner, co-owner and COO of the fitness portal. And now I'm helping people stay fit and healthy every day of my life pretty much. So just trying to keep people moving and trying to keep myself moving at the same time, because I'm a classic for being able to just eat way too much food and then get really, really, really overweight. So I've decided that if I do enough exercise, I can eat as much food as I like.
Perfect. So you've had quite the history with sport and keeping healthy. Just give everyone a little bit of insight into what sport you've tried, what teams you've been a part of. How's that all going for you? Oh, we've got all day. It's only 10 a.m. and everyone's in lockdown, so we don't have many plans.
Well, I guess I played a couple of sports, but the main ones would be underwater hockey. Has been massive in my life. I started playing that with yourself, Jason.
Oh yeah.
Back in 2006, I think, was when I first started playing the old mini league. If you've never heard of underwater hockey, it's a real sport. So definitely give that a go. Mini leagues are done at kind of the year 7, year 8 level, and then after that, you go into high school and you play through the school system. And then eventually, myself and Jason got into the Wellington under-18s teams. Managed to qualify.
Team that was.
That was a beautiful team. Some great characters in that team. Shout out to Nick Barraclough and Seb Newman-Dennis.
And Luke Bryant, Tristan
Luke Bryant, Nathan Wells. Yeah. Oh, good times. And then we got into the New Zealand squad, and then travelled around for went to the 2011 Worlds in Amsterdam. Not Amsterdam, Dordrecht, and then we just went and hung out in Amsterdam. That's probably a story for a less serious show. And then
times were had by all. Netherlands was awesome, mate. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't just our team that went up to Amsterdam. All the teams did. Teams from South Africa, the States went up there, Spain. Like, it was a great time.
Yeah, it was just amazing how different the culture is over there. And then I guess after that, had a bit of a hiatus off the underwater hockey, came back, made a comeback, played for the under-23s in Spain. That was pretty awesome. Sadly, Jason didn't join me on that one because he was too busy being Jason. Did you go to 2013?
2013? What, for Worlds?
Yeah.
No. I went to Trans-Tasmans after that, but I didn't go Worlds. So my only Worlds was in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands.
Yeah. And then the other sports I played tennis, table tennis, bit of badminton. I used to do triathlons. I've run a couple of marathons. I've biked around Taupo. Swam in the Ocean Swim Series, the New Zealand Ocean Swim Series, and did a bit of mountain biking. I think that's about it.
And you've done a bit of CrossFit.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget.
Can't
Not
forget
mention
that.
it.
Isn't that your main
Can't
sport now?
Well, no, I'm still underwater hockey's the main. Got trialing for the New Zealand men's team currently.
What's happening
and
there?
then,
Like, are trials still on hold?
Yeah, so essentially the world champs has been postponed until unknown date, and then our coach Liam Watson
when was Worlds meant to be?
Worlds was meant to be in July, and the selection camp was going to be Easter weekend. So most of us were coming into that kind of end cycle of our training. So we're only 4 weeks out when we got put into lockdown. But the pools obviously got closed. But we had decided to postpone our selection camp because the Worlds had already been postponed. So we were already preparing for not having a camp when the pools got closed. And I guess we'll be getting back into trials when everything's kind of been figured out and they can actually host the Worlds again, because most of the countries that would be coming across, places like Spain, they're complete lockdown, so there won't be much of a tournament at this stage. So it's a bit of a shock to all the people who've been training for a year now to build up to the selection. And
all sports are put on hold, aren't they?
The Olympics is 2021 now.
I saw that. They were pretty adamant about a week ago that they weren't going to postpone, but I think things have developed since then, and they've decided to call quits on pushing that view. So next year is going to be the year. Hopefully, everyone has come out of lockdown, and the majority of teams and countries can attend.
Yeah, well, in my humble opinion, I reckon that pretty much no international events will be being held this year, because there's too many countries that are getting completely overloaded, and you can't exactly do international travel. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if everything got postponed to next year.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, we might come out of this whole situation within New Zealand, but there'd have to be massive border restrictions just to ensure that it doesn't spark up again once New Zealand's healthy, Yeah,
I definitely think that New Zealand's on the right track for getting healthy. Not that I'm an expert, but from what I can see of like worldwide trends and stuff, New Zealand's taking the best approach, and we're damn lucky to have Jacinda as our Prime Minister to lead the charge.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've been saying in the other podcast, they're like, no matter what your political stance is, you can't really falter on the communication aspect. She's communicated clearly. Everyone knows the plan. Everyone knows why we're doing it in New Zealand. So kudos to her. Tell us a little bit about the fitness portal. What's that all about?
So the fitness portal started just over a year ago, where our 1 year birthday was on the 2nd of February 2020.
Oh, happy birthday. Hit that 1 year mark.
Yep, pretty excited for that. Had a big celebration at the gym, did some special memberships and all of that to show our appreciation to the community for supporting us. So myself and Tim Fox decided that we would go out on our own and start our own gym, because we wanted to focus on our own kind of approach to the health and fitness. Whereas majority of gyms seem to kind of focus on the masses. They're focusing on everybody that can come into their gym, whereas we're a lot smaller. We can't really hold as many people. We're only 150 meters squared size gym. So our focus is on the individual. So we make a much more targeted approach to every single person that comes into our gym, that we can help them achieve their specific goals, rather than providing something for everybody. It's providing something for every single person that comes into our gym, rather than the rest of the world. So obviously we're on lockdown at the moment. We haven't been able to open since we went into level 3. So we are providing some services to our members as much as we can, those who are still managing to support us through this time. And then pretty much none of our members have actually cancelled their memberships in this time. So we're pretty lucky to have such a tight-knit community.
That's awesome. And how many members are you at the moment?
We cracked the 100 just after our first birthday. And so we're sitting at about 110 at the moment. We were tracking towards getting to about 120, 130 by Easter, but that's not going to happen at this stage. Yeah, exactly. So we're... What's that?
So have you pivoted in any way? Have you decided to change things slightly while everyone's in lockdown?
Yeah. So we're still offering the same memberships. So we've still got our base membership, which is an entry membership, if people wanted to sign on to that. And then it's the same as our online training membership, which is $10 a week. And it just gives you access to a program we have called Trainerize, and myself or Tim write programs for those people who are coming in to do at home. And then if you've got any equipment, you can send it through to us, and we integrate that into the membership, into your program. And then we've got our gateway membership, which is kind of like the gateway to your health and fitness. And that one is $16 a week, and that's going to give you access to all of our virtual online classes, which will be running via Zoom. And the Zoom classes, myself or our other group fitness instructor, Michelle Holman, we will be running the class with them, doing it with them, taking them through all the steps, sweating with them, crying with them, bleeding with them if we need to, just to help each other get through it. And then hopefully no one's bleeding. That'd be a bit of a health and safety concern, but just more of a statement, that one. And then, yeah.
yeah, nice one. So you've got a few products out there. What would your advice be to the average Kiwi who is in lockdown? They think that they're in isolation and they've come up with a few goals, but they don't know where to start. They want to start working on their fitness. They're pretty intimidated by any physical activity, maybe because they haven't done any as such. What direction would you give there?
I've got kind of two directions towards the person who hasn't really been doing much fitness. Now they're in lockdown. Previously, they've enjoyed being in lockdown because they haven't been told to be in lockdown. But now that they're told to be in lockdown, they're like, I don't want to be in lockdown anymore. So I want to go out and get active.
Everyone wants to do what they're not allowed to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When mum and dad sent you to the naughty corner and told you can't do that anymore, that it just makes you want to do it more.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, I need to get out because Jacinda's telling me to stay indoors. I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah, scratch that itch.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people are, doing, some people I've seen doing 2 to 3 workouts a day. And if you've gone from doing no workouts for the last 2 years to suddenly trying to work out all the time, you're going to put your body under a lot of stress. And at this period, especially with the COVID-19 outbreak, we don't want to be putting our body under extreme stress, because when you put your body under extreme stress, your immune system gets affected, and then you're going to be more likely to be able to get COVID-19. So it's really important that we focus on building up our strength and fitness gradually without trying to overdo it. So if you are new to the health and fitness game, talk to a professional, whether it's the fitness portal, whether it's some other person who knows about health and fitness. It could be that you've got a cousin that's a personal trainer. Have a chat to them. But the one thing is, don't just go on and look at the free online workouts and just follow them, because they're not catered to your fitness ability. You need to find something that is catered towards you, that helps you get the best results. Because if you just follow the generic, yeah, you'll probably get results for the first 2 to 3 weeks, but you've got a higher chance of injuring yourself, and you've also got a higher chance of burning out, which is a classic for most people starting their fitness journey.
Yeah, for sure. And how do people find out what their fitness level is, so that they don't get injured? What do you put them through generally?
It's usually
during this time when they're in isolation.
That's quite a tricky one to do. I guess it's about talking to people. I use a system called RPE, which is rate of perceived perceived exertion. So you give them very basic workout that isn't too strenuous on all the joints, and then you find out what their RPE is at the end of that workout. So let's say, for example, you get them to do 10 squats, 10 push-ups, 30-second plank, and a 5-minute run around the block. And if they come back from that and they have a perceived exertion of 8 or 9, then you've probably pushed them too hard, because we're looking for about that 6 or 7 when someone starts working out, because you don't want to be, if you're training at your highest peak, then you want to be looking at kind of that 8, 9 sort of marker to really, for certain workouts. Not every workout should be at that highest percent.
And the scale is 0 to 10?
0 to 10, yes. So if you're finding that workout was an 8 or a 9, and it was just that, the squat, push-up, plank, and the 5-minute run, then we want to be looking at scaling that back a little bit. It could have been that the run was too long, and because you have never been running before, so we might scale that to a run walk, and then keep with the push-ups, planks, and the sit-ups. And that might be enough for Sally, whereas Joe might go do that exact same workout and find it super easy, and he might put it as an RPE of 2. And if he finds that as an RPE of 2, then he's going to be needing a lot harder stuff like that. So, for example, if I put you through that, Jason, you'd probably be like, well, that was a nice warm-up. Where do I go from here? Probably not even enough for a warm-up. I'm pretty sure you did 75 push-ups before your actual workout the other day.
Oh, stop it. You'll make me blush, mate. Chuck that on the live, Yeah.
Just gotta add that in there.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of a flex.
Yeah, but a lot of people can't even do 1 push-up, and so they would find 10 push-ups really, really hard, and that would be enough to actually be a full workout for them. So it's about knowing where your limits are and talking to a trainer or someone who can help you through this period, who actually can understand that different people have different limits, and not everybody's the same.
Yeah, for sure. I want to switch the topic slightly to gym culture, because I think there's like a everyone has views on gyms, right? Like people think that's for these like macho men, and they're brain dumb, and they like gyms are for meatheads. They walk into a gym and they walk in like this and leave for just like their protein breaks and come back and there's nothing else to them. I think that's like a load of crock, but I think there's a bit of intimidation around gyms for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if you noticed that Mackenzie put in that little comment that he's glad that you can do the 75 push-ups and you can do it for training.
I did see that. Mackenzie, I can't even remember when I made you do 75 push-ups, but I hope you're fitter for it.
Or he's just never done push-ups ever again because you've marked him for it.
I think I was year 12 or year 13 when I was coaching Mackenzie, so I was pretty early in my own coaching journey, and I probably wouldn't make a year 9 do that again. That's pretty harsh.
When I first got into coaching, I made my team do bring Sally up squats. This is like year 9 and 10 girls before I kind of knew too much about coaching. I had
holy moly,
so many messages.
Challenge.
Yeah, bring Sally up is a great challenge. If you have done squats before, when you're brand new to squatting, they couldn't walk for like 3 days, and I was like, oh, maybe a little bit too mean, but that's right.
Just describe the Bring Sally Up challenge for people who don't know. I'll bring it up on Google or on YouTube, and then here we go. So
it's a song. Screen. Yeah.
So it's a song that you have to keep up with for a squat challenge. Here it is. So it's a bit like this. It's insane. It's a good workout.
Yeah. I've seen someone attempted to do pull-ups, and I was like, that's absolutely crazy. I've done it with push-ups, and I've done it with squatting.
Yeah, push-ups is good as well.
Yeah.
So every time you head down, you go down. Every time you hear up, you go up.
So these girls are cheating because they've got their arms on their knees.
Yeah, for sure. They haven't got as much testosterone and muscle as you have, Devin, so cut them some slack. Not all of us are CrossFitters and New Zealand reps or underwater hockey.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. But yeah, the really good challenge if you're wanting to get a good leg burn going at the end of your workout, or a good warm up at the start. Might be enough to just be your workout in general, to be honest. But,
so yeah, that can be combined with push-ups as well. Yeah, it's a good challenge. I love it. I've done it a couple of times. People, if you want to challenge your mates to it, it's a goodie. It's definitely one to put out there.
Maybe that could be the next Instagram challenge thing that goes around. You know, I've seen all the stories of challenging.
Funny you should mention that. I got tagged in that exact thing 2 days ago. So I need to play catch up. My mate Derry Brown, he tagged me in it. So I'm a little late to the party, but I'll do it. Yeah. I'll definitely do it, and I'll probably give you a tag there, Dev.
Oh, sure. Can't wait. So, maybe we should do handstand push-ups.
Woo! Let's see if we can do it just normal press-ups first, and then we'll jump into
the RX plus.
Exactly.
So what was the question you had before I interrupted you?
That is a bloody good question, mate. No, we're talking about gym culture.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So gym
culture is changing, or what's the perceptions out there at the moment? You're on the ground with all this.
I think gym culture is definitely changing. I think people are starting to see the gym as more as a necessity rather than something that they need to just go and work out some muscles. Different gyms have different cultures as well. So you've got your classic bodybuilding gyms that usually have a little bit more testosterone kind of flying around because it's more about the aesthetic than it is about the feeling good inside. What I mean by aesthetic is like the looks on the outside, in case anyone is unsure of what that means. Whereas a lot of gyms are really pushing for everybody is welcome in that gym. Some gyms can't achieve that. So, you know, certain styles, so I'd say powerlifting, a little bit harder with CrossFit as well to really get that culture going. One gym, a little plug for Instinct Fitness, is the CrossFit gym that I go to. That's the t-shirt that I'm wearing.
You're all about those plugs, eh? Hey, Dev.
I didn't actually do that on purpose. I just was wearing the t-shirt.
No, it's good to support the crew. They're good people. Yeah, well, I'm all for that.
So the reason I go to Instinct Fitness is for that same thing, community, and I like to be pushed because I'm a very competitive person, if you hadn't realized that already. And you're surrounded by some of the best in the country. It's even Luke Fizo, the top CrossFitter in New Zealand, who's going to the CrossFit Games. He's our coach. So that's a really cool vibe. And they've actually managed to keep the kind of CrossFit mentality not too heavy, whereas some other CrossFit gyms around the world probably still have that very that classic reputation of that everything you do is talk and do is CrossFit, whereas we actually managed to get out and talk about other things like coffee. That's the first thing that goes to my mind because the amount of coffee catch-ups we have.
Just talking to how competitive you are, like one of my favorite pastimes is proposing a challenge to you and you going out and doing it. So definitely love that about you, Dev.
I remember
one of your finer points.
Staying with you in Auckland one time, and we literally spent 4 hours playing table tennis because we couldn't. One of us had to win, and every time the other person. Pretty sure I won.
No, good times, good times.
But the gym mentality is definitely switching overall. Like at the fitness portal, we've got a lot of members who never would have joined a gym previously, because we've created a vibe where people don't actually feel like it's a gym as such. It's more of like a place you go to fix what you need to fix. So whether it's you've got bad knees, you've got a bad back, you just want to lose a little bit of weight, like it could be anything. But the main thing that every single person's coming into the gym is that they're trying to feel better. They're not actually trying to, they may have an external goal that they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm definitely trying to lose 5 kilos because that's what's going to make me feel good. Or I'm not going to try and gain 10 kilos of muscles because that's what's going to make me feel good. Notice that every single person that has a goal at the end will usually say, because that's what's going to make me feel good. So all they're trying to achieve is feeling good about themselves. And quite often a gym can do that for people if it's the right environment for them. But if you go to a gym and you don't feel like it's the right environment for you, try another gym, because there's so many different gyms that have different vibes and different communities that not every single one's right for the same person. Like I would have someone come to me and say, oh yeah, I'm not really a fan of your gym. I'll be like, that's cool. You probably shouldn't be here then, because you're not wanting someone who doesn't want to be there in that space.
Definitely. And like every gym has their own flavor of sorts. There's women's gyms, there's men's gyms, there's gyms, like you say, for bodybuilding, for powerlifting, for aerobic fitness. There's spin cycle gyms. There's gyms for pretty much everything. So you need to find which one suits you. Another thing that I've heard is when people first start gymming, they walk in there, and one of the reasons they're intimidated is because they see everyone, but they think everyone's looking at them. You know, they think that people are staring them out, or like as they're working out that people are like watching them. You know, that's pretty common for newbies in the gym, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely. It's a huge thing. So quite often if I take someone for like a consultation through the gym, they go, oh, I just feel like everybody's watching me. I just feel like everyone's looking at me. Well, half of the time, if there's any guys in the gym who are doing some sort of bodybuilding workout, they're probably too busy looking at themselves because they're so worried about what they look like. They don't care what other people look like. And then all the other people are so focused on their own workout. Why would they be looking at you? The only people that seem to get stared at are the people doing stuff that people want to copy. So you'll notice that you've got the one person in the gym who's got some cool stuff that they're doing, and then slowly other people start copying that workout. So you've got the kind of, I guess, alpha, or the popular person who does the different style of workouts, and they're getting really good results. People start copying that person.
Like when you overhead press 100 kilos. Hey, Dev.
I wouldn't advise that for the average person coming into the gym.
No, but there's always the alpha that can do that, like yourself, right?
Are you making me blush, Jason?
No, you've always been a strong dude. I remember our arm wrestles back in the day. You almost snapped my freaking arm off.
Well, it helped that when I was in high school, all I did was shoulders and bench. Ended up giving me terrible posture, but I had some pretty big shoulders.
Yep. Always had big chest, Dev. Yeah. The biggest boy at the pool.
That's how I got the nickname Panda, because I look like a panda on the side of the pool, just like sitting like.
And that's friendly as a panda too. Wouldn't hurt a fly.
Nah.
What happened with your whole radio career? I know you had radio, just a little segue into another part of your life.
Yeah. When I was at high school, I was like, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? And I decided that I wanted to make people laugh, make people happy, help people, as I said kind of earlier in the show. And I couldn't figure out what that was. And so I was like, and then one of my teachers said, I think you'd do really good in radio. You've got the face for it. And that was the running joke for about 5 years. And then I managed to kind of bluff my way into radio school. And that was down in Christchurch at the CPIT, Christchurch Polytechnic Institute of Technology, and did the degree for radio broadcasting. So I got a bachelor in that. So I did that for 2 years, and then I got an internship in Dunedin at MediaWorks in Dunedin. So I was working for The Rock, More FM, The Edge, Radio Live, And that was awesome. When I was down in Dunedin, I got to do so many different things because it was such a small area. Everybody did a little bit of everything. I actually was working right next to soundkeeper Gary in the beginning of his career as well.
Really?
Yeah, so that was quite entertaining. So it's real entertaining watching him smashing it in the old radio industry. But I was doing reporting for the Highlanders after every game. I had a show on More FM's Big River Radio in South Otago, and I was writing and voicing ads. And then they had a bit of a restructure, and I moved to Christchurch to go inside the creative hub where I was writing and voicing ads still. Did a little bit of less of everything else though, because they were a big enough hub that they didn't need everybody to do a little bit of everything. And then after that, they had another restructure, and we all had to reapply for our jobs. And I was actually finding that I was not enjoying it as much as I thought I would have. But I kind of held on to it because I thought, oh, you know, I've done a degree in this. I have to stick it through. This is what you're meant to do. Everyone's believes that this is where you're meant to be. And
what did you want for yourself, and what was the reality? Like, what weren't you satisfied with?
Well, I thought I wanted to be a radio announcer, and it turns out that's actually a really, really, really hard job. You have to constantly be on your game.
Or hard to actually get?
Not technically, but it was hard. It was a hard job in general because you're standing there with a microphone in front of you, and you have to talk to people all day, but you're not actually talking to anyone. You're talking to a screen. So it wouldn't be like me talking to you now. It's me talking to a microphone, hoping that people are finding me funny. Hoping that people are
listeners out there.
Yeah, and you have no idea what. So it's actually quite an intimidating thing. And I found that I couldn't just flow with my words. I was very stoppy-starty, and I didn't actually enjoy being on my own in a announcer's booth for 4 hours straight talking to myself.
It's a bit of a talent, eh? People who talk to themselves.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And every single radio announcer that has kind of gotten to the top has had to work some horrible shifts, some horrible hours, and you've got to give a lot of respect to every person who's made it to that kind of top game, because they've gone through some pretty tough times and some pretty lonely times as well. And to me, it just wasn't, I wasn't enjoying it enough to want to keep going through with it. And that was quite a hard realization for me, because I'd spent 2.5 years, probably over $40,000 on my student loan for a degree that I was like, oh, well, maybe it's not going to work. So I went back to Wellington, and I had the plan to go back into radio after a little bit of a break. But then I got a job at a gym as a manager, and ended up doing quite well in that. Got the certificate in personal training, and then found out I really enjoyed working one-on-one with people and helping them feel better about themselves. And I thought, oh, this is actually something that I really enjoy. And I don't have to, it challenged me a little bit as well, whereas the radio, it was challenging in a different way. It was challenging more mentally rather than academically, whereas personal training, you know, coming up with new programs, researching about things like I'm currently researching, as weird as it may sound, about how women's physiology affects how they train. So I'm trying to find out if the menstrual cycle is well, actually it's proven already by Dr. Stacey Sims that the menstrual cycle affects the strength of women at different times of the month. So all these people have been getting women to train like men when they're not men. So they need to actually train completely differently to how men train when it comes to strength and fitness. And I've been doing a little bit of research on that, and testing it currently on a few of my clients, and they're actually so far finding it more enjoyable, because it's based on how they're feeling during that month. Yeah,
you've got to tailor training to each individual's biology, right? Like there's no point giving a bodybuilder's program to someone who isn't at that level or who isn't training for bodybuilding, you know? You've got to tailor it to the goals, tailor it to the person. Campbell Nelson, just per comment, I talk to myself a lot, but wouldn't be good at entertaining in that way. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm sure most of us do talk to ourselves, but chuck us on the radio and we'd be all over the place.
Yeah, so every time you hear a person solo announcing on the radio, they're probably sitting there super insecurely going, shit, people are actually finding me entertaining. And the amount of times that I've sat in the car and gone, oh, cringe, ouch.
Yeah, and then you must think back of what you actually said, you know. You're like, frick. Oh, they actually say that. Will I get fired for saying that?
Yep.
Was it a good joke? Was it a bad one? Because you can't hear the laughs from the people. There's nothing to go on, you know?
Exactly. And I work off people's reactions. I work off people's facials. So I love emceeing massive crowds. So I've emceed a few of my mates' weddings. And back when I was working at FM, yeah, look at me. It's great. They give you free alcohol and go make some terrible jokes, and hopefully.
Is that how you make the invite?
Yeah. I'll come to your wedding if, and they'll be like, you weren't going to be invited, but I guess if it's free. Like
yeah. So anyone out there who needs an MC, I know that weddings are virtual these days because we're all in lockdown, but Devin's your man.
Yeah. I heard quite a few people are postponing their weddings, which would be so annoying. Imagine that, getting a date set, and then
I was actually talking to a chaplain the other day, and he said, yeah, there's a lot of weddings being postponed, but funerals are the big ones. Because you can't delay a funeral, right?
Oh my God.
Like you have to have the ceremony pretty soon after the person passes away.
So how are they working that? Is it?
I don't know. It's a very difficult conversation to have. Sometimes it's just a small get together, but logistically, I don't know how it works. It's not my area of expertise. But,
I guess hopefully no one has to deal with that too much.
Every
weeks.
Yeah, every industry is affected, but it does still suck for all those weddings that have to be put on hold. I was at my brother and his wife are going to have a baby very soon in May, and we were meant to all go to Israel, so that's taken off the cards.
Oh no!
Yeah, so we'll have to postpone that until a later date. So there'll be a lot of
borders open up again.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be a lot of Skype calls and Zoom calls.
Yeah,
Zoom calls are going through the roof now that everyone's in lockdown. You know,
I saw the meme go round of the Scooby Doo pulling the mask off the bear guy. And, it's got, who's behind COVID-19, and it's like Zoom.
And also house party.
Yeah, house party as well. I only just heard about that this morning. One of my friends was like, we should have a house party catch up. And I was like, oh, what? What is this house party? So obviously I'm behind the times.
I haven't actually downloaded it yet. Heard a lot about it. But that's on the rise.
Coming through as well.
Yep, all that online world, you know.
Yep.
Everyone's going online. But I think as soon as all this is all done and wrapped up, people will be craving offline stuff. So before online was the trend, and then it'll get flipped once all this gets wrapped up.
I'd say that most cafes, gyms, places like that are going to have a massive boom because people are going to be sick of working out at home.
Yeah, I heard this analogy just before we went into lockdown. When everything was still operational, we were in level 2. Yeah. Everyone was saying the hospitality industry, we're like the cello players on the Titanic. Everyone knows we're sinking, but they're trying to entertain everyone and keep everyone happy.
Oh, that's actually such a good analogy, though.
Yeah, but no, they're good people. I hope if anyone's listening in that industry, you're doing okay, because obviously, it's everyone's shut shop. Has been pretty hit hard. That industry has been hit hard. Tourism as well. That one. There's all these industries, events.
Yeah, we're definitely lucky that the government's trying so hard to actually support every single small business. If we didn't have the support from our government going through this period, we probably wouldn't be able to keep paying our staff. But luckily, because we've got a couple of staff members at the fitness portal, but thanks to the government, we're actually being able to keep paying our staff through this period and keep them on with what they would have been kind of working. So, and I'm sure a lot of other businesses have been able to do that as well. And yeah, I think it's good that New Zealand's actually coming together and attacking this as one rather than kind of looking out for themselves. Everybody actually is in this together.
Yeah, for sure. And there's, I guess there'll be a bit of not a price to pay afterwards, but we just have to think about what will happen when everyone goes back to work. Like the government is obviously putting a lot of money into the private industry and making sure that those businesses can stay afloat. But there might be like a bit of a rebound while the government tries to get their finances under control again. Like we may see more taxes, we may see things to try and stimulate the economy. Like the effects after this is all wrapped up, we don't really know what track we're going down, I suppose, because we don't know how long the lockdown will be. But there will be a period where we need to work a little harder, I think. But on the whole, I think it is a good move because, like people like yourself, you can pay your employees, you can make sure the machine keeps rocking and rolling. So we'll just have to see what's to come.
I definitely, not that I'm a financial advisor, but I've got a few financial advisor friends, and kind of the main gist of it is start putting some money aside, because one, you don't have to spend as much when you're in lockdown. You're kind of stuck at home and the only thing you need to spend money on is food. So start putting a good chunk into your savings and be prepared for anything that could come out after the lockdown, because like you said, Jason, there could be an increase in taxes. There could be, we don't know what's coming, and it's always good to have that buffer just in case things don't go as planned. For sure.
All righty, mate. We've been on for 42 minutes and 3 seconds. Thank you very much. Any last words of wisdom before we wrap this thing up? Anything you want to plug?
I think I'll take the opportunity to plug a couple of things that we're currently got going. So we've got the online training that you can do at thefitnessportal.co.nz. You just jump onto our website.
Let's bring it up.
Should we bring it up?
Let's give a visual.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you
so what's the website?
www.thefitnessportal.co.nz.
Fitnessportal.co.nz. Let's jump into it. Here we go.
Oh, there it is. Nice and fancy.
Flash.
What a beautiful website.
Website. Who runs that thing?
Yeah, well, our website designer is Josh Baker, if you're interested in getting him to design your website. So the one you want to go to is in the top right, is that online training up in the corner there.
Very good for the isolation period.
Yeah, and then you just fill out the details, and bada bing, bada boom, that's you with your weekly online training. The other thing that we're going to be doing is, as soon as we come out of isolation, we're going to have about a week to a week and a half of prep, and then we're going to hit a 6-week challenge going forward to get people losing their ISO weight, because I know that quite a few people are going to be probably not able to avoid the snack drawer. I know that I've been finding the snack drawer rather tempting. So we're going to run a 6-week challenge, and we're actually going to start this week coming up a daily challenge or weekly challenge for anybody to join in with. So you can check us out on the Fitness Portal on Instagram, so at the Fitness Portal, or Facebook at the Fitness Portal 101 to see what our weekly challenge is to keep you moving.
So mainly type in the Fitness Portal to Google and they will find you.
Yep, that's the one.
If they need the Fitness Portal, definitely one to watch. Devin, you've been a pleasure as always. You know,
thanks, mate.
It's always a bit of fun with you. We've had some good times. I'm sure we'll catch up in the near future, hopefully when isolation's all done and dusted.
Yep, definitely will.
Keep doing what you do, and
awesome.
Stay fit, stay healthy, keep training. I know underwater hockey is better for having you around.
Try and make it.
Keep doing those overhead presses, 100 kg.
Yep. 100 kilo
Ladies,
snatch
did you
coming
hear
up.
that? 100 kilo snatch, ladies. Yeah. Get it. Anyway, mate, we'll catch you soon.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
You too.